Hi, this is Annie, daughter of Chip Evans. Hey, I took 2 business classes at UNR, and I'm here to tell you that you too can learn a lot by listening to Business Matters with Chip Evans. Well, here's the program. Pay attention. There will be a quiz.
And welcome to this special Profiles in Business section of Business Matters with Chip Evans, production of America Matters Media. I want to alert you that we're going to have 4 different guests in here for 12-minute segments each. If you'd like to squeeze a question in, we might be able to take it. 775-827-8900, nationwide toll-free, 855-790-8255. Our Profiles in Business show is really meant to be for business owners and prospective business owners to kind of learn about some other businesses out there, take some lessons away, learn about some valuable services you might want to use in your business as well. So first off, today I have William Sickens with me. Bill, he's here from We Are Technology, and that's wearetechnology.com. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much.
So Bill, tell us a little bit about yourself first. Where'd you grow up? How'd you get doing what you're doing?
Actually, Reno, Nevada, born and raised.
Native.
Yeah, native, and grew up here, and my parents had a business locally, so I got my introduction to business that way, I think. Went to college here, and we actually started 17 years ago now, back when there was a Park Lane Mall and Park Lane Mall.
There you go, and you're back in the mall again here at the Reno Town Mall.
Absolutely.
Life's come full circle already. So, and tell me about what got you into this particular business. And
Well, I've always had a love for technology, and I think what got me started in all of this really was when I was in high school over at McQueen. They needed some help with the computer lab. So one summer came in and started putting things together and learning a lot of the details and things about how everything worked. And then after that, I did my first piece of computer software, which was for my parents, and it was the first thing that I put together. And at a very young age, we got it out there and started selling it. And I'm like, this is great. I love doing what I'm doing, and I can make some money at it. So,
now, what kind of software was that? It was a point of sale?
It was it was software. They owned a legal office. So it was a software for putting together the client files and managing a database.
Oh, wow.
It's all real exciting stuff. But for them, and at that time, it really was kind of state of the art.
Well, terrific. And then you stepped out and decided you're going to start your own business from scratch, huh?
Yeah, we started putting things together. After I got out of school, I figured, I want to sit down and do something that I can kind of run the thing on my own and use what I do well and do best. So we started the store, and at that time it was an actual computer store, and this was before places like Best Buy and CompUSA were even around. So we did that, and we did a lot of on-site computer repair and that type of thing. Ended up having a lab here locally for people to come in and learn and training and all of that. And then from that, we started moving into the software design and development. Got a local bank with one of my first clients here. Started working on their security systems, and everything kind of just went from there.
Wow. So one of the things you can say about your 17-year business history is that, this has been an evolving business based on market changes all along. So the first one was the big box stores started coming in, and so retailing computers wasn't working so well.
Yeah, retail really changed, and over a period of a couple of years, it just went from a situation where it became a commodity. So instead of selling custom systems and that type of thing, it was you went down and you just bought what was on the shelf. So it put us in a very different standpoint to be able to sit down and figure, okay, well, they do that, and they do that very well. In fact, they can do it better than we can. So what is the next step here? And looking at businesses and figuring out what their workflow is and writing software that works specifically for them, things you can't just buy off the shelf, is what we started doing. And that has been the business model ever since then and has really worked well.
So we call that in the business textbooks a defensible position.
Yes, very much so.
So no more storefront.
No more storefront.
Offices now.
Yep, offices, and we're nationwide now. But a lot of things changed, and then one of the big ones was them tearing down the mall. That ended the store. But going from that standpoint and kind of adjusting to the business model that we're in now is office front, office suites, that type of thing, and different locations. It's kind of whatever works for the local community. We figure that out and put it together, staff locally, and build on that.
Well, I love the idea of another nationwide business originating in Reno. Well, tell us exactly what is the business. We Are Technology does what?
Well, we have a focus of about 5 different things. The big thing right now is developing the application software that runs on smartphones. So your Android or your Apple phone, or now a little bit with the Microsoft Mobile, all of those things are actually products that can be developed here locally in Reno. and which I don't think a lot of people know, that you don't have to go out of town to be able to get these things done. You actually can work with someone that's not only in your time zone, but right across the street in some cases. And that's a big part of what we do now. Website design, all of that type of thing has been part of our business model for many years. We have locally designers and programmers and everything to kind of go from start to finish. The website itself being part of that, but the interactive software and the security also being a very big part of that. And being able to set that up and do it securely and correctly is a huge, huge part of what we do. And then the old standby is business software. So you have a business and you want to do something that won't work just off the shelf. You can buy things, but they may not exactly apply to what you're doing. That's where we can step in and actually sit down and fix the workflow. It saves time, it saves money, and it makes things work a lot better.
Wow, that's amazing. And what sparked you to go national? Was it just the early customers you got said, I've got offices around here, let's do something about that?
Well, and that's actually an interesting question, because it was a long way from point A to point B, and it wasn't originally what we planned to do. But our biggest part, and what I love working with the most, is the mom and pop businesses. I mean, that will always be the case. But we started stepping in and doing different things for a number of Fortune 500 and some of the bigger companies that either are based here or had a branch here or something, to where we were able to plug in and work with them, the bank being the biggest one. And from that, we started just branching out, and can you supply a programmer and wherever? And we go ahead and do that. What got us on the East Coast was kind of a cool project that we started doing work for the Smithsonian. And that's been a fun project. We do the kiosks in the Air and Space Museum, and I love it. And I'll tell you what, talk about wanting to be involved in your work. We've got to go out and check out the product personally as often as possible.
I'll bet that ranks right behind, I'm going to have to visit my client in Hawaii.
Exactly.
Customer service is number one, right?
Absolutely, and it's so important.
Yes, it is. Well, good for you. The Air and Space Museum, my favorite place in D.C.
Yeah, it's really been a lot of fun. And that'll be expanding too in coming years. There's a lot of cool things they're looking at setting up and doing. And I think that's also going to be expanding beyond just the Air and Space Museum pretty soon.
I kind of want to explore some learnings in your head there that you probably got from just your upbringing. Your parents, did they have a single type of business, and did you see it evolve a lot?
Yeah, they started out, my dad was a CPA, and so he started out in that realm. And they had the legal background, so it did evolve from doing accounting into being a full-blown legal and paralegal type office. And what was driving behind that was the fact that in the tax business, most of your business is between January and April, and the rest of the year, not so much. So it was kind of fun to see how that evolved and how it grew. And it started out in one small office off of Rock Boulevard here, and then they ended up on an entire floor of a building before they retired in another part of town. With a number of employees and that type of thing. And it was interesting. But my upbringing after school and that type of thing was going to work at the office, and I learned how corporations worked and how all these different things went together. So it came in and worked really well for doing my own thing after the fact.
I'm trying to imagine where you learned all your lessons from bad managers and good managers if you started out running your own business right out of college. So it's largely vicariously through your parents' business experience. Right?
The parents' business experience for me was a very big deal, and being able to have that in my background, I think, helped with this a lot. And learning things like the customer is king, customer service is your most important aspect. And then providing a consistent product that is always the same, that people know they can rely on, and that it's going to do what it's supposed to. Those type of, which I consider to be the very basics of running a business, were part of what I learned from day one. So the idea, and I've seen good managers and bad managers and all the rest of that over the year, but I've been able to avoid some of the pitfalls, I think, too, knowing walking into it with a little bit more advanced experience from that.
Oh, well, I certainly have admiration for the sort of flexibility and realistic appraisal of your business situation that you've gone through here a number of times. Well, Bill, who is your target customer? If we've got anybody listening out there that could use your services, who do you want to pay most attention to what you're doing?
Business to business, definitely. Our primary markets are medical and banking. We do a lot of security work and that type of thing. So from the medical, HIPAA compliancy and all of that. Again, with some of the stuff that's happened in the last fall, making sure that data is secure. that your hackers are not going to be able to get in. That type of thing is a big part of what we do. But really anybody that has a business that needs software that does something specific that they can't just go buy at the store, that's the kind of client that we love to work with. Love to sit down and do some brainstorming and figure out how we can increase their business.
Now, where are you located now?
We're over off of Terminal Way in the RTC building.
And the greater U is, what other cities are you operating in?
Well, let's see. We have an office in Las Vegas. So Nevada's Reno and Las Vegas. And outside of that, okay, let me think about that for a minute. San Jose, Portland, Oregon, Nashville, Tennessee, Kansas City, Brewerton, New York, and a few others. So it really is nationwide.
And if they want to find the most thorough, up-to-date list, they can go to your website, which is?
wearetechnology.com. And take a look on that. There's a list of the offices. And also, if anybody has a question, there's an Ask a Question button. Feel free to click on it, and we're happy to respond.
Now, about how big are you? How would you describe yourself most? How many employees are?
We're at about 47 people now, and growing. We do. I'm trying to think what the best answer to that is.
Are those really 90% programmers?
It's about half sales and half programmers.
Okay.
And programmers would include things like graphic designers and the whole aspect from start to finish that you would need to put together a product.
Oh, terrific. Well, it's wonderful hearing about your business. We Are Technology. You can check it out at wearetechnology.com. We're with Bill Siggins. And anything else people ought to know before I let you go?
Just give us a call, and we're happy to help.
Okay, another Reno business doing well nationwide. We'll be back after these messages from our sponsors with more Profiles in Business.
Northern Nevada's Building and Construction Trade Council is working for a better community for all of us.
We've been partners with local contractors since 1928 to provide qualified, safe, and productive workers. Workers trained in the latest technologies and methods to perform the highest standards of quality and efficiency.
We save taxpayers money by assuring union workers and their families have medical insurance and pension benefits, so they won't need public assistance. We also work to keep unqualified contractors with their shoddy work practices from building our bridges, schools, and public buildings.
Our Building and Construction Trades Council supports good jobs in our community. Jobs with a livable wage, basic health and retirement benefits, a safe work environment, and the pride that comes from knowing we are building a better Northern Nevada.
For more information about our local Building and Construction Trades Council, go to bctnn.org. That's bctnn.org. Or call 775-355-9200.
Support the quality contractors who employ skilled union tradesmen. We build it right the first time.
Ever longed for that rock star moment? You know, the one where you're on a real stage with a real band singing your heart out in front of a real audience.
Well, here is your chance to have that moment.
Hello, this is Julia.
And I'm Tina.
Here to announce the biggest little superstar search.
You'll take the stage at Reno's Bodega Live and Ultra Lounge to perform your choice of over 200 popular tunes. Backed by the Karaoke Rockstars Live Band, you'll have your rock star moment and come away with a video to remember that night forever. Your performance will also stream live on Loaded TV.
The biggest little superstar search runs Friday nights starting February 21st with the grand finale on March 21st. Prizes of $1,000, $500, and $250 will go to the top 3 finalists.
Register now for only $15 at krockstars.com. That's K-Rockstars with a Z.
Questions? Click on krockstars.com or email ray@krockstars.com.
Take your shot. You might just be Reno's next new superstar. You must be 21 or older to enter.
Come join us for our salon's grand opening on April 5th. We're sisters Sarah and JC, inviting you to our new salon, Sastre Hair and Body Bar.
We're a new upscale salon for spa, beauty, and personal care.
This is our dream salon. We want to provide you a variety of services from the best of the best, all done in an amazing environment.
Let us style, color, highlight, and condition your hair. Looking for hair threading? Jessica Ortiz will do a terrific job for you. And let Erin Davis do her magic and give you eyelash extensions.
Come in before April 5th and get 25% off your first service, including color, highlights, and deep conditions.
And then meet all of our stylists at our grand opening on Saturday, April 5th.
Sastre Hair and Body Bar is located at 9333 Double R Boulevard, Suite 1300 in the Double R Galleria, next to Jasmine's Restaurant.
Walk-ins are welcome and appointments suggested. Call us at 775-737-4000 or email salonsastre@gmail.com.
Sastre means sisters in Norwegian. Come join the Sastre family.
And welcome back to Profiles in Business, special feature of Business Matters with Chip Evans, a production of America Matters Media. And we talk to business owners and service providers to business. And one of the interesting things that always comes about is there's a terrific human story behind most of them. In our last segment, we heard from Bill that, he grew up in his parents' shop and he just kind of learned business and he liked technology and he kind of went from there. Well, Laura Proleto's with us today. She's from Courageous Bee and she's got an amazing story on how she got here. So I'm going to start out with the biographical stuff. Laura, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, Chip. I'm Laura Plato. I'm with Courageous Bee. We do coaching and consulting for socially minded business owners.
Well, tell us about you. Where did you grow up and how'd you get into this, and a little bit of the story of how your career migrated a little.
Absolutely. It did, like so many people's, right? I think my adult journey is very much like something many people will relate to, but I grew up here. I came here when I was about 3 years old. My parents moved here from Southern California, went to all the Reno schools, and then went away for college, different work opportunities, and came back here about 10 years ago. So it's been quite a journey, quite a long journey, and a fun one.
Came back just in time for the crash.
Just in time for the crash, just right before it. Yep. Bought a home in Sparks, was able to sell that one, and now live here in Reno again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us, Courageous Bee now. What do you consider the products and services associated with that?
Courageous Bee is all about small business owners and people who want their business to do more than just do good for them. They want to do well in the world as well. So it's about coaching and consulting is sort of the umbrella that we all think of. But what that's really about is strategic business mentoring, helping you create a presence in the community, and help you get in touch with who you are as a leader so that you can actually bring your whole self to work, bring your whole self to your staff, your customers, and every product and service that you create. And I think that's a piece that's really missing. I know in my corporate journey, I was fortunate to work for some amazing companies where those pieces were present. But so often when you go out on your own, you're everything, right? When you do your own small business, you've got to do it all from soup to nuts. And so it makes it a real challenge to focus on yourself and bringing your spirit and your soul into your business. And the thing that you were so passionate about can suddenly become, oh, forget about it, right? I just got to get by. I just got to scramble to get by. And that's what we're about is changing that paradigm.
I have a little bit of a personal story to share. One of the things I've most enjoyed in my whole career was actually heading up the United Way campaign for a group of divisions of Hewlett-Packard, and working with United Way and their agencies and the people that they serve there in Silicon Valley. And it was very, very fulfilling, and it actually led to my being on a nonprofit board, my first one, and it's turned out to be a big part of my life, and I really appreciate being able to intermingle that with my business life, which is certainly tougher to do for the smaller business person. But you've developed a passion for this reach out for personal reason. Huh?
I have. Personal reason is definitely, I think, for all of us, it is that journey, right? So you get by in the early days. You're just trying to build a foundation for yourself, for your family. And then sometimes life kind of slaps you in the face. And that's what happened to me in late 2012. Fall of 2012, I was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer, which is actually a pretty aggressive form of breast cancer. Not many people know about it. It specifically targets younger women, so women under 40, African-American women, and people with certain genetic markers. Well, I fit one of those characteristics, and it gave me a chance to sort of reevaluate, get introspective, and think about what really mattered to me, who I want to be, and what I want to be known for, and how I want to help and leave a mark on this planet that's a little bit better maybe than how I found it.
And so what are the target customers for what you do now?
Target customers for what I do now are business owners who know that they are bigger than their current vision. People who are interested in not just surviving, but thriving. So if you're a business owner who says, gosh, I've got this great product, I've got this great service, but I'm just not making ends meet, I don't know how to take it to the next level, and I know I can be a force for social good, I know that this is more than just me doing well, then that's the target customer for me. That's who I want to work with, and that's who I'm working with right now. These are the people that inspire me through their business stories, and who I think I bring some unique value to through my own.
Do you have any stories that you can share from that experience? You can mention names if it thinks it suits their purpose, or not, whatever works for you.
Absolutely. I've been fortunate in my coaching journey. I've been doing this work for about 6 years in parallel with my corporate career, and now doing it full time as a small business owner. And during that time, I've had the chance to meet just some amazing individuals, amazing business owners. I can tell you here locally, I work with some amazing spiritual entrepreneurs. I don't know if you know Denise Sheehan of Sage Spirit Reiki and Coaching, an amazing practitioner who's really thinking about how to take her business to the next level. So many people know her as one of the leading coach and Reiki providers here in Reno, but now she's thinking bigger. She's thinking globally. And how can we help her to move forward? It's been a wonderful journey with her. I've also had the chance to work with some professional leaders who are actually what we'd call intrapreneurs. These are people inside of corporate America. They're still doing that day job, working for someone else, trying to figure out how to make their vision a reality. So I won't name names there, but I can tell you that is another incredible place. If you find yourself in that place, I'd love to work with you as well, because so often your vision is running in parallel with all this effort you're putting out for another company, and it could be time to take it to the next level for you, and we've seen some really great success stories there as well.
Now, Laura, just to provide a little help for folks that are thinking about turning kind of their hopes and their passions and their hobbies into a life where they can live it. I think you just shared with us that you were kind of in parallel mode for a while there with your regular career, and then you started gathering up certifications, I gather. Maybe you can just describe that transition from your corporate job into this.
Absolutely. And it's actually a process I went through that I now use in my practice. So I'll just describe it, basically 3 steps. One is self-awareness. So for me, that was about going through a process of education and getting the certifications, but also deep introspection, personal introspection. Who am I? What do I want to be known for? And how do I start to get there? Which really then leads into phase 2, which is about strategy. Well, if I'm here, how can I put the pieces in place to get where I think I might want to go? And then the third piece of that, how can I tell my story, which is what I'm getting the chance to do today with you, Chip, right? Tell the story of that journey from knowing that you're doing really cool stuff, but you could be doing so much more. And that's really what that process is about.
Okay. It occurs to me I left something out here. I'm sitting across from a beautiful, vital-looking woman, and yet we just described that you had this awful cancer. Please tell us things are going well.
Thank you. Things are going well. I have been extremely fortunate. When you have a triple-negative breast cancer, there is basically one Western protocol that most women will find themselves going through. So that is surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. And Chip, you can attest, I'm sitting here with a nice full head of hair, and I look healthy. I was fortunate to have amazing doctors here in Reno, a wonderful team at Renown, and a bevy of holistic practitioners who just supported me through yoga and Reiki and you name it, they were there for me. And so absolutely, green juice all the way. Eat those good foods, and I think it is absolutely possible to beat the odds that you're given.
I think of one of the major challenges for folks that have personal service businesses like yours, which is much like my consulting practice. In a way, when you go into situations, you have to kind of evaluate your potential client on whether their head's in the right place, whether this is just a subterfuge to get a check off on what they're doing that's not popular with inside or whatever. How do you select your customers?
That is a great question, and isn't that true? I think one of the challenges all of us face as small businesses, and particularly people in the services profession, is we think that every customer is ours, and that's not true. And so I go through a pretty rigorous screening process. It's not painful in any way, but it is a really open, honest, authentic conversation to say, who are you and what are you about and how do you think I can help you? And then I have to be really real with me and say, can I help? Can I add value here? What's great about being a coach in this community, we have so many wonderful people who identify as coaches and consultants, and they all bring unique skills and gifts to every interaction. So I'm never alone. I never feel like I'm out there on my own. I have an amazing team that I can draw on and refer to. So I never feel that scarcity mindset that if I don't get this client, I'm in big trouble. And I think that helps in having the right discussions with folks because they know that I'm either the right person for them or I'm not, and that's okay. We'll find them the right person.
And wisdom sometimes saying, I'm not the right person for you.
Absolutely.
But
absolutely.
I know somebody you can talk to.
That's right. And I know someone you can talk to. Very important to be able to say no as well as to say yes in all aspects of our life.
Now, just so people understand and appreciate all that you've learned and all of the courses you've gone through and the certifications you've gotten and the money you've invested, that tell us about your certifications and how they play into your business.
Absolutely. So I do have a very strong educational background. I do have a master's degree in criminal justice policy, which gave me a lot of insight into both economics and how people are in the world and how they be behaviorally. I also went to a coaching school. Coaching is not a regulated profession in this country or in the world, and so there are a lot of coaches out there who don't have certifications. I went through a 2-year training program and graduated there with their level of certification. That's the Academy for Coaching Excellence out of Sacramento, led by Maria Nemeth. And then I also went through the International Coach Federation's certification process, becoming an associate certified coach. That's their first level of training that they offer. And then they also have graduated degrees from there that you can continue to progress through. So that's my education and certification background, and kind of bring that together.
Well, great. Well, Laura, how do people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you about how you might help their business?
Take a look on the web. You can search for me at Laura Plato, and you can also find me at www.courageousbe.com.
There you go. And a phone number you're using for this, or just send them to the website?
Find me on the web. I have a wonderful contact page, and we'll get together. You can also find me Facebook, LinkedIn.
Okay. Well, for folks there on American Matters Media's Facebook page, there are links to get a hold of Laura there. And Laura, is there anything I forgot to ask that you want to make sure your listeners hear today?
I don't think you forgot to ask anything, Chip, but the one thing I'd leave everybody with is just, if you are a small business owner and you're anxious to make your mark and you know you could be doing more, you don't have to struggle anymore. Now's the time to thrive.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being with us, Laura Plato of Courageous Bee. You're listening to Profiles in Business with Chip Evans.
You love it, and you know it. 101.3 Renegade Radio.
I Consign Furniture. It's the easy way to sell, smart way to buy.
Sales at Consign Furniture have been great, but we're always striving to find better ways to serve you. Our second truck has made it fast and convenient to pick up the items you want to sell or deliver the items you've purchased. At Consign Furniture, it's safe and simple. We do all the heavy lifting, pricing, and selling for you. All you need to do is sit back and relax. It's easy. Either come by our showroom located on Market Street in Reno, call us at 824-0222, or visit us at consignfurniturenow.com. Let Consign Furniture take the guesswork out of buying or selling your furniture or household items. Consign Furniture, the largest consignment store in Northern Nevada. And remember, pickup is always free.
Consign Furniture. It's the easy way to sell, smart way to buy.
South Creek Pizza Company, Reno's hottest new artisan-style pizzeria, featuring the finest wood-fired brick oven pizzas, handcrafted to perfection. Made from the freshest, most flavorful ingredients, starting with the crust, a Neapolitan-style dough made from imported Italian flour, cold fermented for more than 48 hours. Each pizza is topped with a tantalizing array of the freshest, high-quality meats, sauces, and produce, along with South Creek's own mozzarella, made fresh daily. All pizzas are flash roasted in the 900-degree mixed hardwood oven, producing a caramelized taste adventure you'll savor forever. Choose from a mouth-watering assortment of handcrafted delights, like the Paradise, made with sliced pears, Niman Ranch bacon, smoked blue cheese, and topped with arugula and honey. Or for you traditionalists, try the classic with fresh Italian sausage, mozzarella, shiitake mushrooms infused with basil and garlic. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday, South Creek Pizza Company is located at 45 Foothill Road in the South Creek Shopping Center in South Reno. Stop in with your friends and family and enjoy a festive flavor journey at South Creek Pizza Company, Reno's finest artisan-style pizzeria.
Hi, this is Marie, the director of Sweet Dreams Academy. As a master's prepared teacher, I'm here to announce that we're accepting applications now for the next session of our pre-kindergarten program. Our professionally designed curriculum for 4- and 5-year-olds incorporates the latest Nevada state standards and includes beginning reading, writing, math, and social skills, all taught through practical application and structured activities in a fun environment. Let us help build the foundation for your child's success in school. Choose the time that best suits your schedule with our 2.5-hour classes beginning at either 9 a.m. or 1 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sweet Dreams Academy and 24/7 childcare offers a wide variety of services to our parents. We're a family-run local business with a well-trained and caring staff located in the Franktown Corners Shopping Center at 2285 Kitski Lane. For more information, go to sweetdreams24-7.com or call 622-0083 and ask for me, Marie. That's 622-0083. Enroll early. Classes are limited to 10 children per class.
And welcome to Profiles in Business with Chip Evans here at the home of community radio. Can you really systematically and consistently get the results you want from others while making them feel genuinely good about themselves, about the process, and about you? Well, I have an internationally known guest that says absolutely. So Bob Burg is a sought-after speaker at corporate conferences and for entrepreneurial events. He regularly addresses audiences ranging in size from 50 to 16,000, sharing the platform with notables including today's top thought leaders, broadcast personalities, Olympic athletes, very timely, and political leaders, including a former United States president. Although for years he was best known for his book, Endless Referrals, over the past few years, it's his business parable, The Go-Giver, co-authored with John David Mann, that has captured the heart and imagination of his readers. It shot to number 6 on the Wall Street Journal's business bestsellers list just 3 weeks after its release and reached number 9 on Business Week's. Since its release, it has consistently stayed in the top 25 of 800 CEO reads, business book bestseller list. It's been translated into 21 languages. It is his 4th book to sell over 250,000 copies. And he's here today to talk about his newest book, Adversaries into Allies, Win People Over Without Manipulation or Coercion, and is by far his most important work yet. So Bob is an advocate, supporter, and defender of the free enterprise system. He believes that the amount of money one makes is directly proportional to how many people they serve. He is also an unapologetic animal fanatic and serves as a member of the board of directors of Furry Friends Adoption and Clinic in Jupiter, Florida. So welcome to the set, Bob Burg.
Chip, thank you so much for having me.
Well, I want everybody to pay close attention, especially here in Northern Nevada, because Bob Burg is actually going to come to our town shortly. You'll have a chance to hear him speak in person and talk to us about his new book. So let's talk about that new book if we can.
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you.
So your book, Adversaries into Allies, is really about kind of breaking up the we, them, us, them, our side, the enemy's sort of paradigm, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you make a great point, and I think that's really true because people say, "Well, gosh, adversaries. Does that mean everyone who disagrees with you is an enemy?" And no, not at all, because it can really be a matter of the other person being a nice person, a well-meaning person, but maybe it's a situation where let's say they're the customer service representative, and if you're like I am, you lost your receipt and you need to return something, and their strict policy is no returns without receipts, and this person's not they have not been taught, they have not been empowered to know how to handle that kind of situation. So you need to be able to work with them in a way that's kind and tactful and respectful and helps them to live in the solution. Or it might be the prospect or customer who you just sort of keep going back and forth with the same objection, even though you think you've explained it. So it could be more just the position itself. I used to love the saying that Sadaharu Oh made famous. Sadaharu Oh, as you may know, was the all-time Japanese home run hitter, terrific home run hitter. And he used to say that he never considered the opposing pitcher to be his adversary, but rather his partner in hitting home runs. And I always thought that was wonderful. So, so I see our adversaries in this case, Chip, as simply being our partners in our attaining satisfaction while also helping them feel genuinely good about themselves and the situation.
Now, it seems that that's a terrific overlay for perhaps the boss-subordinate or the employer-employee relationship.
Well, people often ask that, well, can't a boss just order their employee to do something and that's it? They're paying them and so forth. And the fact is, sure, well, they can. The question is, how well is that really working for them? Because when you lead or influence that way, really what you're doing is you're depending upon your position of authority, and you're depending upon compliance, and you're not earning the kind of commitment you can. See, someone who does that, a boss who does that, they can have employees, but very rarely a team. And when you lead or influence by force or control, what happens is, at best, they're going to do exactly what they're told and not one bit more. At worst, they're going to find a way to sabotage the process completely, consciously or unconsciously. On the other hand, the opposite of compliance is commitment. And when you have commitment from them, that's a whole different story. And that only happens because the leader or the influencer questions themselves. They say, how does what I want this person to do, how does that align with their wants, their needs, their desires, their values? And when you tie the two together, now you've gone a long way toward earning that commitment.
Great words. Hey, I'm really impressed with persuasion and manipulation. I keep thinking of so many situations where people get seemingly compliant behavior through the wrong method and it backfires. So how do you define persuasion and manipulation as being different?
Sure. Well, both are forms of influence. When you think of it, influence is simply the ability to move a person or persons to a desired action, usually within the context of a specific goal. You could do this through manipulation, which I believe is very negative, or you could do it through persuasion, which I look at as being positive. There was a book I read that was written back in 1987 by Dr. Paul W. Sweats called The Art of Talking So That People Will Listen. It was really much more about listening than it was talking. It was a great book. And I thought he gave a much better description than I ever have. So quoting and with credit to Dr. Sweats, he said that manipulation aims at control, not cooperation. It does not consider the good of the other party and typically results in a win-lose situation. He continues that in direct contrast to the manipulator, the persuader seeks to enhance the self-esteem of the other party. The other party acts more responsibly because they're treated as responsible, self-directing individuals. So I believe the difference between manipulation and persuasion begins with intent. While the manipulator may not be trying to hurt the other person, they don't necessarily care if they do, so long as they get their way. It's win at all costs. They are focused only on themselves. With the persuader, that won't happen, because for the persuader to feel as though they won, the other person also has to win. And so it begins with intent, but it doesn't end there, because both the manipulator and the persuader can cause a person to take short-term action. But once you know you've been manipulated, you're going to do your best to resist that person, not do business with that person, not follow that person to the best that you can. With the persuader, hey, once you've been persuaded, you're fine. You'll always reconnect with that person because you know they've got your best interest at heart.
Well, it seems like the core of this new book of yours really is the 5 principles of ultimate influence. What are they?
Well, number 1 is to control your own emotions. Number 2 is understand the clash of belief systems. Number 3 is to acknowledge the other person's ego. Number 4 is to set the proper frame. And number 5 is to communicate with tact and empathy.
And can you give us a real-life example of a time these came into play for you?
Yeah. I think of a person who, when I was pulling into it was a hotel parking lot, actually. I had a meeting there, and as I was pulling into the parking space, I was not paying attention as I should have. And as I pulled into the space, nearly clipped a guy as he was getting out the driver's side of his car. And he really shot me a nasty, nasty look. And, obviously I pulled up in plenty of time. I didn't hit him, but I can understand his feelings about it. But it was he was acting out of an anger frame. His emotions totally took over. He was acting out of an anger frame, and he shot me that really nasty look. Now, had I let my ego get the best of me, and had I given him a look back, what are you looking at? He just said, watch where you're going. And, we know those things don't end up good, right?
Road rage.
Right. Yeah, either road rage or parking lot rage or something like that. And but what I did was I simply I smiled, I put my hand up to signal an apology, and just through the windshield I mouthed the words, sorry, and he immediately looked back and went, no problem. And so you think about that, and really it's pretty simple, because so long as we control our own emotions and not allow our emotions to control us, then we're fine. Now we've created the context where we can take a perhaps negative situation or potentially negative person and turn that into a winning situation for everyone concerned. And it's the same in business. It's the same. It really kind of covers the board. And of course, at the program that we do in Reno, we're gonna put this within the business context and really share how someone can have a lot more fun in their business, have a lot less stress, and make their business a lot more profitable.
Well, it seems like one of the secrets that's hidden in your new book is there's a particular question that you've identified you can ask that is pretty much guaranteed to keep a potential misunderstanding from ever actually taking place. Will you reveal the secret?
Yeah, this is almost going to be disappointingly simple, actually, and it's just asking this person to define what they mean. You know, in other words, it would be when the person says, when the person says, I need this done as soon as possible, it would be to say, you know, just for my own clarification, when you say as soon as possible, is there a specific date you have in mind? And because, see, if you don't ask that, what they, and this comes to the clash of belief systems, when they say as soon as possible, what does that really mean? So you and they might have a totally different definition of what as soon as possible means. And that's why and that's why conflict takes place, because both people, based on their own individual belief systems, think they're talking about the same thing when they're actually talking about something completely different.
Well, Bob, we're going to have the good fortune of having you in our neighborhood here not too long from now. Can you tell us a little bit about those details?
Well, thank you. And I always love visiting Reno and catching up with my old friends and making new friends. That's going to be March 26th. It's going to be held at the Grove at South Creek. The person promoting the program, who's holding the program, hosting it, her name is Telly Rack, and she's a licensed massage therapist. And she has put together an absolute wonderful group of sponsors who've gotten behind this program. And, you know, whenever I speak in Reno, it seems like the community really comes out. I just love the people there and really looking forward to seeing everyone and catching back up.
That sounds great. We're talking with Bob Berg, the author of Adversaries into Allies, Win People Over Without Manipulation or Coercion. Bob, best way to get a hold of your new book?
.com.
Okay, well, thanks so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, we'll be back after these messages.
Northern Nevada's Building and Construction Trade Council is working for a better community for all of us.
We've been partners with local contractors since 1928 to provide qualified, safe, and productive workers. Workers trained in the latest technologies and methods to perform the highest standards of quality and efficiency.
We save taxpayers money by assuring union workers and their families have medical insurance and pension benefits, so they won't need public assistance. We also work to keep unqualified contractors with their shoddy work practices from building our bridges, schools, and public buildings.
Our Building and Construction Trades Council supports good jobs in our community. Jobs with a livable wage, basic health and retirement benefits, a safe work environment, and the pride that comes from knowing we are building a better Northern Nevada.
For more information about our local Building and Construction Trades Council, go to bctnn.org. That's bctnn.org. Or call 775-355-9200.
Support the quality contractors who employ skilled union tradesmen. We build it right the first time.
Come check out one of the Truckee Meadows' best-kept secrets, the Reno Town Mall.
Located across the street from the Atlantis Casino Resort.
The Reno Town Mall is just steps from the Reno Sparks Convention Center and is home to a variety of merchants, including a full-service grocery store, Food Source.
Other tenants at the Reno Town Mall include the Washoe County Library,
Burlington Coat Factory,
Marcel's Bridal,
A Proper Fit Footwear,
and Access to Healthcare Network.
This unique urban mall will fit in perfectly with your busy lifestyle.
Stop at the Aroma Club Cafe for your morning coffee or perhaps a quick business lunch at Round Table Pizza.
The Reno Town Mall is also home to the Reno Sparks Convention and Visitors Authority,
Northern Nevada Job Connect,
the Great Works of China Import Store,
and America Matters Media. Come join the audience as we record live radio shows. Stop by the Reno Town Mall today for the best Reno has to offer.
Coco Chanel said, "I don't do fashion, I am fashion." At Veritas Empowerment Boutique, we have a great mix of new and consignment apparel, bags, footwear, hats, and jewelry. And did I mention the furs? We have new items arriving daily. Veritas Empowerment Boutique at 201 West Moana. Not only do we dress you from head to toe, but we want to empower our clients to be their best. We remember your spirit on the inside too, because that's what's really going to make you look like you're ready to rock the world. And we have bling, lots of bling. The Chick Chat girls visit all the time. Debbie just can't stop buying my Miss Me jeans and oh, those beautiful dresses. Visit Veritas Empowerment Boutique at 201 West Moana Lane. We're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10:30 a.m.-ish to 5:30 p.m. right by the Ballpark Market on Moana Lane. Or call me at 240-3258.
And welcome back to Profiles in Business with Chip Evans. You know, one of the things that happens in business is you consider, the products and services you're going to offer. You're going to consider how people can buy things. And very often, if you're going to be in the retail business, it's all about location, location, location. And that has actually changed, the dynamics of that have changed a little bit over time. We didn't realize it so much in the past, but, certainly a good location is one with good foot traffic and for most retail outfits. And that's the obvious. And of course, people who have retail space on the big streets where people pass by and where people walk, they get the premium prices for their rents. And it's really a newer concept to have residents' businesses in a particular area grouped together and actually group market. And there's probably no better example at work here in Reno right now than Midtown, which has come out of the ashes that it was, even as little as 10 years ago. The Carter brothers opened their hardware store in a seemingly unlikely place. There were lots of tattoo shops, not that all of them are bad, but some rundown ones. A lot of very poor retail outfits in that area that weren't doing very well and attracting clientele that weren't helpful. And frankly, it wasn't a safe place to walk a lot of times. And over time, a number of things have happened together. The city of Reno has provided an opportunity to work directly with the residents there to help out with some zoning issues. The early pioneers in revitalizing the retail areas there got together and formed their own merchants association. And Junkie came shortly after that, which changed a corner of that neighborhood and basically defined the area for Midtown. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Reno, I think Midtown probably starts about California Avenue on Virginia, south of downtown, and maybe all the way down to Plum, if on a good day. And so all of a sudden, at the very same moment, it was a natural turn of the housing in that area as well. This area is dominated by relatively small houses that were many of them built between the 30s and the 60s at the latest, and the 50s, many of them. And people, a new generation of folks began to move in to revitalize those. And then there was the whole renovation and celebration of the Mount Rose School, which made a good public school nearby for elementary. And all of these things have combined together to provide a really powerful force for regenerating that entire area. And now you go down there and people are walking. There's the Good Luck Macbeth Theater right there on Virginia. There are all kinds of restaurants, not only on Virginia itself, but a block deep. Some that we talk about here an awful lot. Creme and let's see, we got restaurants. And Mari Chuy's Mexican Kitchen is one of my favorites. I'm usually there on Friday nights with my wife, saying hi to Chuy and Maria. And the Wedge, the cheese place, and there are all kinds of restaurants up and down there. Soup, and a number of others. And also the boutique clothing places began to pop up all over. And these are not the big box stores. These are the type of stores that a local community supports, each with its own feel, its own products representing that of the owner. And so it's really become a very interesting place to be. Midtown continues to build. There's some new building going on now in the Styx complex there, adjoining Chuy's restaurant. And a lot of retail space is being gutted and renovated for use now and other things, including there's a new health club that's right there on Virginia. So anyway, one of the longtime watchers of this whole process, and now a resident of Midtown, is my good friend Chuy, and from Chuy's Mexican Kitchen. Welcome, Chuy.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you for the invitation.
So I was just talking about the whole combination of things that have kind of come together to revitalize Midtown and have all the merchants there think of themselves as not just an individual business, but a part of a vital whole. And so you had a restaurant and chose to move your restaurant into this area and are enjoying great success as best I can tell. That's
yes,
awesome.
it's been great. We used to have Fresh Max, and we decided to move down to Midtown, which is a nice community, family. I mean, it just, the right thing for our community, what's happening in Midtown. I think we have a lot of great things coming along.
So you've been at some of these meetings of the Midtown Merchants Association.
Yes.
Association. What are the things they try to focus on in cross-promoting each other?
Well, one of the biggest things that we promote, it's buy local. Buy local and support local businesses and whatever we can do, keep our taxes in our community. Those are one of the biggest things that we focus on Midtown.
So you don't find any big chain-oriented restaurants there in that particular area?
No.
And big box stores and none of that stuff?
No,
because they're all individual merchants?
All friends and family.
There you go. And I was mentioning one of the wonderful things that's happened is just the revitalization of the housing in and around that area. It seemed like there was kind of a natural turn. That a lot of houses from the 30s through the 50s were built, and now we're coming up with new owners and young people coming in and redoing it and preparing it for raising families.
Yeah, those Victorian homes, those Victorian businesses. I mean, everyone has something for those buildings. And I think Midtown is doing a great job, by helping each other and just see what's coming in our future.
Now, I go hang out at Midtown, a couple times a week, and one of the things that I'm aware of is that there is a local community there to support the merchants in the Midtown area. But in fact, I don't know what the ratio is. It seems like 50-60%. It really draws from outside because Midtown's just a good place to be.
Right. Well, and it's a good energies. There is a lot of good energies in Midtown. Like you said, there is that support from all the businesses and neighborhood, but at the same time, we bring a lot other community to Midtown because it's a great place to be.
So, one of the things that I know that they do is they market together.
Yes.
Which so the branding is shared between, say, your establishment and Midtown at the same time.
And that's one of the great things, by branding Midtown District, it means everyone in there, so that's what it gives us more enthusiasm, to do great things in our Midtown and our neighborhood.
Now, they're probably not the pioneers of that here. I understand. Now, I'm not a lifelong resident of Reno, but I understood that California Avenue had a group together of merchants.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That there is some business in there. They've been there, 20, 25, even before my time. So they've been doing a great job in the Midtown, and they have to take credit. They're, like you say, they're the pioneers, and they're there for a reason.
Now, once these merchants got together and identified themselves as Midtown, and I'm not sure what the order of things were, it seems as if the government officials, the chamber, all these other organizations that could be good partners started plugging in, and they had a way to do that. And that's kind of an interesting approach, isn't it?
Well, yeah. When they see something that's good coming up, I think everybody should pay attention. because it is coming up to the right direction, and by cleaning this whole neighborhood, I mean, it's one of the greatest things.
Well, sometimes it's also a matter of leadership and people willing to take a little bit of a gamble at the early part of, leading the charge to resurrect an area like that. And so people that come to mind, Bernie Carter.
Yes, he's a great man, he's a visionary, and I think he's, they're putting the Midtown to the right direction.
Now he's building some places right next to you here.
Yes.
Do you have some prospective customers in there yet?
Yes. Well, we're gonna have 2 chicks, the breakfast place, breakfast and lunch, which it's a good thing to bring some new traffic in the neighborhood. So I think they're gonna do really good. They're hardworking girls, and whatever they have in mind, I think it's gonna work.
And Chewy, who else should we give a shout out to as being integral to making Midtown come together? I know Jessica.
Jessica's they're doing Jessica and Troy. They do really good. Tim Carter with Ace Hardware. There is a bunch of them. There are a bunch of businesses in Midtown that they should take a credit for. What we're doing in there.
And again, there's some people on the city council, including our mayor, who have also been very supportive of things going on there. So,
yes,
one of the things I think we all learned from the economic downturn is that collaboration and working together is a whole bunch better than saying everybody's on their own.
Not in Midtown. Midtown, we are all as one big team, and I think we're playing together.
Okay, well, let me since you're here, let me let you talk about your restaurant for a moment here.
Okay, well, Mary Choice, it's right on 764 South Virginia. And our focus is to bring healthy, good Mexican food. Not just the rice and beans, cheese enchilada, but some healthy jicama tacos, vegetarian meals. And one of the biggest things that we don't use in our rice or beans is lard. Greasy stuff, or we don't use that. We use vegetarian oils, and nothing but the best. So. We take a lot of pride on doing from the farm to the kitchen to the table.
Well, there are a few things that my friend Chewy's doing right over there. One is that everybody gets greeted with a smile, and the food's always good. And if there's anything you don't see on the menu, Chewy will have to make it up for you. So.
That is correct, Chip, and thank you for bringing that up. I like to treat everyone that walks in there like my family. I like to see grandpas, moms, dads, kids. That's the focusing on the Stick Shopping Center, and those are the talks that Bernie and I had, always having the whole family in our neighborhood.
Well, that's the spirit of Midtown. Hey, thanks for tuning in to Profiles in Business. We'll talk to you again next week.